Okay, let's move on to test number 5. So, first of all, I will read the question. Sweeney and her mother went to the market. Read the following dialogue between Sweeney's mother and the grocer and complete this summary. Use only one word in each each blank. The first one is done for you. So there is a dialogue, so you have to then there is a following passage or something, and you have to fill in the blanks um, after reading this dialogue by using some words. Okay, the first grocer said, what would you like to buy today, madam? Then mother said, I'd buy some vegetables. Grocer, we have fresh pumpkins and beans today. Then mother, then I'll buy 1 kilo of pumpkin and 500 grams of beans. Okay, so then grocer said, onions are also cheap these days. Then mother said, really? How much for a kilo? So then grocer, only 80 rupees, madam. Then mother said, then give me 2 kilos of onion. By the way, how much is a kilo of brinjals? Then grocer said, 150 rupees. How about having 500 grams? Then mother said, no, thank you. The price is a bit too high. Okay. Then grocer said, anything else, madam? Then mother said, I want a bottle of coconut oil and a tub of toothpaste. Then grocer said, what sort of toothpaste? Then finally the mother said, give me a herbal one. Actually, this dialogue is the dialogue is between grocer and a mother in a market or a vegetable place. So uh, from that dialogue you have to fill in the blanks, the passage they have given. Okay, then uh, as for the first sentence, Sweeney and her mother went to the grocers to buy some goods. Mother bought a kilo of pumpkin and 500 grams of what? She said to give her 1 kilo of pumpkin and 500 grams of, yes, definitely beans. So for the first blank, you can add beans to that blank as they were. Why actually she bought kilo of pumpkin and 500 grams of beans? Because they were fresh. It is given in the dialogue box. Dialogue. Okay, so they as for the second, yes, as for the second blank, you can add fresh to the blank. Okay, then the other sentence, since the onions were, why actually since the onions were blank, she bought a kilo of them too. So because of actually why she bought a kilo of onions, it is also given, clearly given in the dialogue, because it is really cheap. Okay, she said it's cheap, so she wanted to buy a kilo of them. Okay, so for the third blank, you can use cheap, word cheap. Okay, so the other sentence, she wanted to blank some brinjals, but she decided not to because they were too blank. She wanted to what? Some brinjals. Actually, she wanted to buy brinjals because at first in the dialogue she said she wanted to buy vegetable. So brinjals is also vegetables. So she wanted to buy some brinjals. So as for the fourth blank, you can use buy some brinjals, but she decided not to because they were too what? Actually, she did not buy brinjals because they were too uh, expensive. Okay, too, she said, too is a bit too high. that means expensive. You have to write down that word actually by using one word. So you can't say a bit too high. You have to write down a one letter, sorry, a one word for a bit too high. So the most suitable is one is expensive. So because they were too expensive, that's why she didn't buy brinjals. Okay, then finally, final sentence, she said, she also bought a tube of blank toothpaste. She also bought a tube of what? Tube of toothpaste. Okay, what type of toothpaste? Finally, she said that to the grocer, give me a herbal one. So she is referring to a tube of herbal toothpaste. Tube of herbal toothpaste. So we can use the herbal word herbal as for the sixth blank. So that's about and finally I wanted to say in this test also, test number 5 also, you have to be thorough with reading, your reading ability as well as the vocabulary, because there are some places you need to have the proper answer or the word, single word for that uh, answer. Okay, so you have to thorough with reading as well as your word words, that means vocabulary. Okay, so that's all about the test number 5. Over to you, Sandumini.
Thank you, Thiruni. Next, we'll move on to a very easy area. What is that? Note writing. Why I'm saying note writing is very easy, because in colloquial terms, note writing is the same as writing chits. You write chits to your friends during class, don't you? Sometimes when you're not very confident to talk to the teacher, also sometimes you write chits to your teacher. So the only difference between the chit that you write in class or in casual ways and the note that you're going to write in the English paper is that you're going to write it in English this time. And also, you don't have to be afraid, because that note is also going to be very simple, casual language. You're not going to use very serious English. You can use contractions like hasn't, wasn't, those ones. So it's going to be easy. So let's see what's your requirement for note writing in this model paper. Read the following note and write. So read the following note and write a reply, including the following: your willingness to go, what you will bring, and time you prefer to come. So you're given a note and you have to write the reply to that. There's the date and dear Nikki. So according to this question, your name should be Nikki. I need to do an assignment on birds. Can you join me to go to the zoo to collect some feathers? Is this weekend fine with you? Please get permission from your parents. If you are coming, you can bring your camera too. So she's asking a question. So the one who's writing the note to you is Kalani. So you can use the same format. That is, you're going to use the date. You're going to exchange the names, because this time you're going to write it. And you're going to write to Kalani. And you're going to answer her simple questions by covering these 3 requirements: your willingness to go, whether you're going or not, what you will bring if you're going, and the time you prefer to come. So we have given you a model answer to this. It's going to be very easy. You put a date after the date of the note, definitely. So it can be the following day as well. Then you're writing, dear Kalani. No addresses, nothing. Dear Kalani, yes, I can come with you to the zoo. Your willingness to go is covered. This weekend around 2 p.m. is fine with me. The time that you're coming is covered. And I got permission from my parents. I will bring my camera too. The answer to a question is also covered. Nikki. You're Nikki, you're writing at the end. Sometimes you can leave those notes at the doorstep also. So it needs to be very precise and to the point and very simple to understand. Next area is comprehension area. Read the following text and answer the questions. So when you're reading it for the first time, you need to make sure your head is in the game, not anywhere else. So let's read. Once there was a king called Vikramaditya. He was a king and he was a kind and just king, and all his countrymen loved him. One day the king decided to build a new palace near the river. He asked one of his ministers to carry out the construction work. Under the supervision of the minister, soon the palace was ready. Then the minister went to have a final look before showing it to the king. It was indeed a fine palace, and the minister was very happy. Suddenly he noticed something that intrigued him. "What's that?" the minister exclaimed. Just a few yards away from the palace there was a shabby hut. "Why didn't I see it before?" the minister thought. He thought the hut marred the grandeur of the palace and wanted to demolish it. His men told him that it belonged to an old woman. The minister went to meet her and asked her to sell the land to him. But the old woman refused. "Sir, I have lived here for all my life. I want to spend the rest of my life in this hut," she declared. No matter how the minister tried to convince the old woman, she refused to sell the house. Finally, the matter was taken to the king. The king listened to the story and thought for a few minutes. "Let the lady live in her house. It will not be a problem," he said. Then he advised the minister, saying, "Please keep in mind that what seems ugly to us may be the most precious thing to someone else." So it's a very short comprehension. So let's move on to the questions. What did the king decide to have? What did the king decide to have? A palace. Okay, you have the answers here. A new palace near the river. So you get 1 mark for that. Next question. Who supervised the construction work? It was a minister. 1 mark. Why did the minister want to demolish the hut? Because he thought the hut marred the grandeur of the palace. That is, in simple words, what it means is that it reduced the grandeur, the grand look of the palace. But this is a comprehension question. You can't write things in your own words. If you have to, sometimes you have to, if it's unavoidable. But if you are writing, if it's there in the question, you have to write it as it is. Better you write it as it is. So in the words according to the words provided in the paragraph, the comprehension, you write the answer. He thought the hut marred the grandeur of the palace. Which words of the king show us that he was a wise person? When did we realize that he was a wise person? By reading this last sentence in the paragraph or the comprehension. He's saying, "Please keep in mind that what seems ugly to us may be the most precious thing to someone else." So if you write that, you get 1 mark. So what does the word marred in the story means? That means decreased. So according to these 3 given options, it's ruined. The people loved the king Vikramaditya because because he built many lakes and temples? No. Bravely conquered many kingdoms? We don't necessarily know. The third one is the answer. Was a compassionate and fair-minded person. So it's third one is the answer. Let's move on to the test number 8. So there you have to write paragraphs. Question says, write a paragraph about one of the following topics. Use about 50 to 60 words. So for a person who is very good in English, limiting your paragraph to 50 to 60 words will be the biggest problem. So you have to focus on that area. If you are very good in English, make sure your sentences are very precise, to the point, and what you're writing is also to the point and short and sweet. So my advice is, don't write very complex sentences. To get full marks, the best strategy to follow is to keep your sentences short, so that you won't lose the hang of usage of punctuation marks or the sentence structure or the grammar usage. So you have to write either one of this, not both, one of the following topics. Remember, one of the following topics. You can choose either to write about value of sports, or you can choose to write about my favorite subject. We also have provided you a sample answer. Sometimes the answer you're writing would be even better than this sample answer. If so, it's really good. If not, you can also improve. You have time. The most important thing is, now these are not the questions or these are not the topics that you're going to get in the final exam. So you have to be well prepared. How are you going to be well prepared? You have to read a lot and be aware of current topics. So the answer, let's read one of the answers and get an idea. I'll choose my favorite subject one. So this paragraph, this is what a 50 to 60 word answer looks like. If we look at my favorite subject paragraph, it's just one paragraph. First, you're going to tell in the first sentence itself what is your favorite subject. So that is a beginning or the introduction. Personally, my favorite subject is English. Very simple. No one can cut marks for that sentence. I have always scored. You're supporting it. Your statement, you're supporting it with the second sentence. I have always scored well on the subject because I understand it well. Second one, it makes learning effortless and I always manage to get good marks. Third one, there are other subjects I like too, but English definitely tops my list. Finally, you're saying, I never get bored of it and I'm always ready to study it. So that is about paragraph writing.